Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Corey again. This is Speed Freaks here. Just a little quick update. I've been driving. It's not a very long drive, but it's probably a good 8 hours or so if you do the speed limit. Contending you don't obviously stop anywhere, take any breaks, which I am real quick. Had to fuel up the car. So a little update. The people that own these, there's not many of them. When I bought mine, I was told roughly about 900 of these NSXs in the country at the time, and I have number 347 out of the 900 at the time. I'm sure there's quite a bit more. So one of the things I don't understand, first of all, big pet peeve, I'm a coffee drinker. I like my water, like my coffee. There's no cup holders. So they have this little additional kind of little holder that slides into the center column here, of which is the only thing that actually holds your cups. I mean, literally, and then it's intruding on the space of the passenger because it's actually in their legroom. And these things are pretty cozy, and there's not a lot of room. So I'm like, what engineer out there thought that if you're going to be driving one of those cars, you didn't need a cup holder? Okay, so you have air conditioning, you have satellite radio, you have Bluetooth, heated seats, not cooled, they should be cooled, but they're heated seats. So I'm thinking you have all these amenities, a beautiful car, you have all the controls and everything, which I'll show you here in a little bit, on the steering wheel. So clearly this is a track car, but it's a daily driver. That, by the way, is very comfortable driving as an everyday driver. I've yet to track my car, but I've had some fun. I've had it roughly on a closed course. I'm not going to say I was speeding on highway streets, but about 160, top speeds 191. Handled well at that speed. It's a fun car, but no cup holders. I mean, okay, if it was a track-only car, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's not a track-only car. Where's my freaking cup holders? I've got a buddy of mine that owns a Huracan, beautiful car, love the car. Don't know so much if I would purchase a Lamborghini. My favorite cars that Lamborghini makes are clearly well in my price range, but they don't have any cup holders either. So I'm like, who thought that you wouldn't drive something? And okay, so if you have a bottle of water, you throw it in the passenger seat. Whatever. It is what it is. But on a little side note, the McLaren that I'm going to go test drive, there's a few of them, as I mentioned in an earlier video, that's actually got cup holders. I know, right? I used to always knock the English. I'm like, the bloody English always over-engineer everything. I used to give them all kinds of crap and not really a fan of their stuff. Then McLaren comes out. I don't want to say anything bad about English now, because at least the guys in, I believe, Surrey, England, where these are assembled, those cars are just badass. And anybody who's driven one, raced one, been around one, they are incredibly beautiful, fast, insanely fast cars. I mean, the design of them is just incredible. Now, they're relatively new. I think they started in 2011. The first cars they actually put on the market were 2012, the MP4-12C, which I heard first maybe few hundred of them, they had some issues. A couple of them had some serious issues. The hydraulic suspension is also tied into the rack and pinion. The one video I watched, the gentleman, his rack and pinion went out. Well, long story short, it was almost a $35,000 bill to fix that, because the fluids ran through the whole entire suspension system. The MP4C has that suspension. The 650S does, and I believe the 675 LT still has that. Now, obviously, these are later model cars, and they've upgraded the suspension. So, from what I've heard, only on some of the first 2012s was this an issue. But they haven't been around that long to know as far as reliability. Now, I'm a car fanatic, so I'm always watching cars, always studying cars. Up until recent years, Ferraris, very unreliable. Most guys that buy these Ferraris, the reason you don't hear much about it, maintenance is incredibly expensive, but you don't hear much about it because they don't drive them. Well, in recent years, give it the last 5, 10, 12 years, more people have the means to be able to afford these cars. Not some of the higher-end Ferraris or, an Aventador SV or an S or something of that sort. You're talking $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 cars. But, you do have a good amount of people, car enthusiasts, who now can afford, say, the old Lamborghini Huracan. A friend of mine has one. It's a 2015, beautiful car. I think the roughly $260, I'm going to say how he spec'd it out when he bought it new. It's still probably worth $210, $215. Very nice car, hold their value real well. But the Huracans, as most of you know, when Audi bought Lamborghini, that's their first car they produced was the Huracan. That car is extremely reliable. And for example, a fellow YouTuber, Damon Fryer from DDE, has beat the living crap out of his. He's got that beautiful, badass 805, I believe, horsepower, supercharged. His is a rear-wheel drive. Car is just fantastic. Looks beautiful. He's got the wrap on it. Wheels, I believe he's lowered it, put a big wing on it. Can't say enough about that car, and he's beat the crap out of it and been very reliable. I mean, they'll have some issues. He had a belt thrown off the supercharger, but that's expected. I mean, I think he's got, roughly 40,000 miles on it. So you can't say enough about that. I'm also in the market, and I thought about this, and I'm not sure if I want to go this route, getting a 2018 Audi R8 V10 Plus. Beautiful car. It's essentially a Lamborghini, or a Lamborghini is an R8. Same chassis, different body, same drivetrain, yada, yada, yada. Lamborghini's quite a bit more money. I think you can get a V10 Plus roughly 210,000 if you get them fully loaded, depending on how you spec it. Lamborghini's obviously more flashy, looks more eccentric, a little faster, but the Audi R8, it's all-wheel drive, so it's a little tough if you're into drifting and racing, doing donuts if you like to have fun with them, but also badass cars. So I'm going to take a look at one of those. Not sure if I'm driving back to Kansas City from Dallas with a McLaren this weekend, but I'm definitely going to take a look at several of these cars. I'm going to kill a couple birds with one stone when I go down to Dallas, because like I mentioned, they have 3 different cars that I'm interested in, and I'm going to test drive and put some video of that and see what you guys think. Again, thank you for supporting me. If you haven't already, please subscribe. My name is Corey. This is Speed Freaks, and I'll see you next time.